This podcast episode was brought to you by VP.net, the only VPN that can't spy on you. If I could live anywhere in the world, I would stay right here in the United States because the country may be broken, the country has its own problems, there are things that need to be fixed, and yes, there's this deep state overlord technologist system, technocracy system that's trying to interfere and get overly involved in our lives. It's true. But it's also the only S-tier country in the world. Happy birthday, America. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the Matt Kim Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kim, joined by my amazing co-host, Mr. Peter Saddington.
Welcome, everybody. Smash the like button. You guys are here. It's the Matt Kim Podcast. Let's go. Happy birthday, America.
And also, check in, SAR.
Check in, SAR. We need those comments. Smash the like button and check in. Let us know that you're here.
And if you haven't checked out VP.net, it is the only VPN that can't spy on you. It's something that I've been working on for a very long time. You see me tweet about it. You see me post about it. You see me do videos and you're like, oh man, it's like a 30-minute commercial. It's not a 30-minute commercial today, but go check it out, VP.net. Sign up. It's literally the most private VPN in the world. And we actually believe in privacy because privacy is a right. Privacy is freedom. And we are trying to give tools and create tools that give you your freedom back to you, the human, the person. Thank you.
It's gotten some good reviews.
Yeah, I mean, it works great. It's available on your desktop. It's available on your iOS device or Android device, everywhere that you need it. VP.net. Go check it out.
So I'll just ask one question. Why is it important to have a VPN these days?
Well, okay. I've actually been thinking about this video and this kind of post I'm going to make. Would you mail $1,000 in cash to yourself?
No.
Using the postal system, would you mail $1,000 in cash to yourself?
I don't trust the postal system.
Exactly.
I don't trust them as a medium of exchange.
You don't want to do it because although they tell you that they won't look, although they tell you that your transit will be safe, you don't trust it enough to put $1,000 in cash.
I wouldn't put a bet on that, no.
But yet we trust all these technology companies, we trust our ISPs, we trust all these technology companies throughout the world with our internet traffic, and they'll say, we swear we're not going to do anything wrong with it, we swear we're going to protect it, we swear we're going to do the right thing with it, but you don't want to trust the postal system with $1,000, but you'll trust them with every single information and data that you have. That's crazy.
That's a good analog. That's a good analog because the postal services and the postal systems we know have these scanners, and these scanners they flag things that are intriguing, and they have humans behind those. And let's be honest, if your package gets scanned and it gets screened, and a human looks at it and says, "Cash," that looks like cash, right? We still have a fallible human issue, right?
Exactly. Instead of trusting humans to do the right thing, because unfortunately,
they don't do the right thing.
Things go bad. You should trust the code. You should trust the hardware in which it's created specifically so that no one can know exactly what you're doing doing online. It protects you. It creates a secure tunnel between you and the internet. I think everyone should have one. Everyone should use one. And obviously, I'm extremely biased because I think the one that we've created is the most safe and secure and private VPN in the world. And I say that with full confidence. VP.net. Go check it out.
And the reason he can say that in full confidence is because VP.net doesn't actually hold on to any of your information. And that's what makes it great.
Yeah.
There's nothing to look at.
You can't lose, compromise, trade, share, sell data if you yourself as a VPN provider doesn't have it. I think that's how privacy should be. We are going away from this trust-based model and trusting technology companies with our information. And you should be able to be owners and protectors of your own data. That's what we're trying to do.
Sounds good. I'll appreciate it. My friends, check out VP.net. Check them out on Twitter and the internets. Make sure you download it. Check it out. If you're already a VPN subscriber, make yourself more secure, my friends.
Exactly. In today's episode, I want to talk about Elon v. Trump. I want to talk about the one big bill. One big beautiful bill?
Yeah.
One big beautiful bill?
Yeah, big booty bill.
Another Build Back Better?
More booty.
I want to talk about Zohran Mamdani, the New York City Socialist mayor candidate that's kind of trending online.
He's kind of on the ups and ups.
I want to talk about the Diddy trial. Take that.
Take that.
And I ran into this story about this thing called Operation Salted Fish, which Israeli IDF were shooting civilians and the border.
Oh, salty fish? I thought you were thinking about like Korean salty dishes.
We will talk about that. And apparently, Thomas Massie is trending.
Oh.
We got a lot to cover. Let's get right into it. Okay. Where should we start? The one... No. Take that.
Oh, we're starting with the Diddy?
I feel like we got to start with Diddy.
Man, okay. So let me ask you this. When you first heard that of what he's being acquitted of and what he's actually going to have, charges against him, what was your first reaction, Matt?
Okay. I didn't think he would get in trouble because I think a lot of people are so disillusioned by the system. They're like, of course, rich ass Diddy with all these elite connections that's known and has these tapes on all of kind of the politicians and globalist elite. Of course, he gets out.
Yeah, because he's the Epstein version of the entertainment world and the music world.
And without fail, he gets charged with basically 2 slaps on the wrist.
Yeah.
5 charges, RICO, trafficking, etc. And then the 2 he got charged was like prostitution over state lines, which is like, prostitution is a big deal, but it's not a big deal.
So you're saying that he's getting potentially convicted of moving hoes around?
In area codes.
Seriously, take that. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I tweeted about this as well. I was like, nothing's, and this is before this hammer came down, and I was like, nothing's going to happen. Come on, guys, let's wake up. Nothing's going to happen. And so we have it. Nothing's going to really happen.
I mean, the amount of coverage during the trial was actually not as much as you would think. And I get it. It's because it's a federal trial and it wasn't like cameras aren't on the courtroom, but we weren't like inundated with nonstop Diddy coverage like we were for other trials.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden we find out why, which is because they're going to give us my question for you is this. How long do you think Diddy actually serves?
Well, you put a poll on X. And when it showed up on my timeline, you had an option like 1 year or less or something like that. That's what I clicked. I said 1 year or less, and I wanted to comment, but I didn't. The comment I wanted to was 0.
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. What happened to Epstein? Nothing. You might say, oh, he was deleted from the timeline. Do you really believe he was deleted from the timeline? There's pictures that have been floating around of him well alive in certain locations. On yachts, maybe, hanging out near boats and hanging out near ATVs and stuff. Like, we've seen these pictures, who knows what's real. But the reality is the man is too important. And you couldn't have Diddy go down because he seems like the loose cannon that if you actually took him down, he would go guns blazing.
Yeah.
Right? He'd be like, oh, I'm going down, you going down. You going down, you going down, you going down. It's like Oprah, right? Everybody gets a Lambo, right? He would make sure that everybody would go down. He seems like too loose of a cannon to allow that to happen. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you would think a guy like him has a kill switch.
Oh, come on.
He has unlimited footage. He has information on all these people. And if something were to happen to him, then, I remember the... kind of that phone call between Diddy and his son, and Diddy was like, get rid of all the pizza boxes. Remember that call?
Yep.
And we're like, pizza boxes? Huh.
I mean, out of all the calls that you would make from the jail, you would want to make sure that the trash is taken out.
Yeah. Destroy the pizza boxes. It may bring bugs into the house.
Those gnats guys. Those gnats are so frustrating.
And there's so many stories now. So many people have spoken out about what goes on. So many of the girls that were involved have given their firsthand accounts of what has happened.
Which is shameful, the stories that came out.
And at the end of the day, I mean, my guess is they're going to consider his trial, because he's been in incarceration for 10 months now?
Yeah.
Time served.
That's exactly where I was going. That's where I wish you had that option on that poll, which was 0, because he's going to get time served, slap on a wrist, and he's going to go on his merry way. There were clips of people, and you can find this stuff online, that talked about his FBI connections and stuff like that. It's just like the movies, man, right? Someone gets highlighted. They go into trial, then they have the FBI come in and say, "Nothing to see here, Sar. Nothing to see here," right? He's under protection. We have good reason to use this man. You can't convict him. You can't put him in a jail. He's still useful to us.
The most messed up thing about this Diddy trial is that after all is said and done, he is going to end up even richer. Because he is trending. Actually, he's the #1 Google trend in the world right now.
Oh, he's more famous than Andrew Tate?
He is the most famous he's ever been in his life. And once he gets out of this, he's going to drop a song. He's going to talk about how he beat the system. And that's going to be #1 in the world. Everyone's going to forgive him. Everyone's going to download that song. Everyone's going to react to the song. Everyone's going to talk about the song. He's going to be richer than he's ever been in his life. And that's the most messed up thing about this entire thing, is that he can do what he did. Everyone knew he's been doing it for 20 years. And he's going to get caught. He's going to be brought into public trial. And at the end of all of this, what we find out is that attention is king, and he has the attention. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. He has the attention, and he's going to turn that attention into dollars, and he's going to be the biggest hip-hop mogul, media mogul to ever live. It's crazy. The shit is so corrupt.
You know, I'm forgetting her name right now. You might be able to remind me. But do you remember the old lady who did the cooking show? Very
Martha Stewart.
After she got caught for insider stock trading.
Which is bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Where's Pelosi at? Right? Like, she blew up after that. That's the pattern. So let me ask you this. Let's back up a second. Do you think this was all part of the plan? And let me give you context. Do you think someone said to him, "Diddy, things are getting hot around the collar, right? There's too many people noticing. There's issues coming up. Frankly, you haven't done a good job kind of hiding all the malfeasance and all the degenerate stuff you've been doing. And so it is what it is. We have to have you go through a shame ritual. And part of this shame ritual is your name's going to get dragged through the mud, but you know how fickle the media is and fickle people's minds are. They're going to hate you for a second, but no worries. The resurrection story after we put you through the shame ritual is going to be even better." Do you feel like there was some sort of hand that was telling him this and consulting to him and saying, "Diddy, this is the ritual of shame that we need you to go through, but no worries, just like Martha Stewart, you're going to be on top of the world at the end of it"?
I believe that until or if he somehow ends up unalived. In which case, we're like, "Oh, we're wrong. They got him." You know what I mean?
But he seems like he has too many connections all the way back to, and you probably saw videos on this, all the way back to Tupac.
I mean, he's chilling in prison. He's living his best life.
He's untouchable.
He's watching TV. He's got like his cell phone. He's like reading books. He's hanging out with Sam Bankman-Fried. They're figuring out their new crypto scam together. He is chilling, taking a little break.
Yeah.
Taking a little bit of time off.
So the shame ritual is not that bad.
No, I mean, for a guy that probably has the ego his size, this is probably embarrassing.
Do you think so? Because some guys like him, they're so perverted, Matt, that I could see him like talking amongst his close network and homies and being like, "Bro, that woman, she was talking about all the nasty things that I did to her, and this woman, she was talking about all the nasty things that I did to her. Like, I'm the man." Like, these guys are such degenerates. I almost feel like on our side, we look at them from a moral perspective. We say, "You're a terrible human being."
Oh, I mean,
but
he's in prison. He's probably like, "Yeah, I did that shit."
Exactly. He's like,
"Yeah, bro."
Did you see her admit to the time when I like pooped on her face? Like, "Oh, I did that." Like, dude, how could anyone let someone else do that, man? But I did that. I'm the man.
So I saw after the trial, and after kind of that initial judgment was put out, you had kind of this freak off outside of the courtroom. Okay, my question is this: was that paid?
Of course.
Meaning, did he and his media team pay people to go out there and do this celebration?
Of course. Well, there's only two answers. The answer could either be they were paid, or number two, those degenerates outside the courthouse truly are lost. Like it's red versus blue. Like care not about the morality, care not about the ethics of it. All they look is through a frame of my guy won. Right? So maybe they're just crazies who are like, my guy won. Forget that he pooped on people's faces and he did all this degenerate stuff and moved hose around the state.
You don't like pooping on people's faces?
No.
Ooh.
Is that your thing?
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know.
Matt, did we just learn something that we can't unlearn?
Whoa. No. Like, no, that's disgusting. You can't do that.
You sound,
No.
You sound like that guy that was on Tucker.
No.
What was that guy's name? Who was like, no.
Obama's boyfriend? Is that
wait.
Larry Sinclair.
wait. Was what? Obama's boy? I heard they're getting a divorce.
What?
I heard that's why Michelle is doing all this stuff. Like
Did you know Michelle Obama has a podcast?
Well, she's trying to make money. She's trying to make ends meet. She's gonna get dropped.
Oh, we talked about the podcast on a previous episode.
Yeah, she admitted that she was a man.
That was crazy. I can't believe she did that.
I mean, I validated this against Will. I mean, remember the question I asked you, Will, was have you ever put your hand to your heart and said, as a woman? Have you ever done that, Will?
All the time. He does all the time. All the time. That's how he walks in a room.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm here.
I did it yesterday.
And as a woman, I greatly feel about, like, brother, never would that come out of your mouth if you're not that thing. Anyway, let's go back to Diddy. So, what do you guys say out there in the comments and out in the Twitterverse and out in the YouTube verse? What do you guys say? Do you think Diddy's gonna get a slap on a wrist? Do you think he's gonna get unalived, as Matt potentially says is an option? I just think he's got too many strings, too many spaghettis in the pot, man.
All right, final question on Diddy. Within 2 years, does he get a Grammy? Because that shit would be rigged,
bro.
So messed up,
bro. I mean, but
can you see it?
I can totally see it. How many times have we seen Barack Obama? You guys remember putting those Medal of Honors on all of the worst humans in the entertainment world? We know most of those humans are people who do terrible things to small little entities, and so could you imagine Trump putting a Medal of Honor around Diddy?
Ugh.
That would be endgame. That would be like endgame shit.
Or Diddy ends up with another, like a preemptive pardon.
Like a Biden preemptive pardon?
Yeah.
Dude, like we make this stuff up and we sigh in our souls, but the reality is
it's
we
kind
can
of
totally
realistic.
see it. We can totally see it happening.
So crazy.
So you think Diddy's going to blow up after this?
I think so. I mean, how could you not?
I feel like he's going to have this comeback tour.
He spent a lot of money on lawyers.
Yeah,
he spent a lot of money on PR over the last year to keep his name like from going completely in the mud. And now you got to make it back.
But that's part of the humiliation ritual. That's part of the shame and humiliation
He has
ritual.
all this attention now. What is he going to do? Not capitalize it? It doesn't make any sense.
He's going to make an energy drink. That's what's going to happen. So let me ask you this. So you think he's going to become more famous? He's going to have this comeback tour. What do you think the people who spoke against him, do you think he's malicious enough to be like, bro, you're on my shit list. Like, I'm going to get you. Because, I mean, he took out Tupac back in the day.
I've been following the story of Stephanie Sue, who's from Atlanta, who's been covering the Diddy trial. She was in the courtroom, and I heard that she had to move her hotel room something like 8 times because they were tracking her, and people were trying to find out because she's reporting on the trial. And I think she said in a piece that Diddy looked at her and said, like, I know you, like twice to her. And I'm like, fuck. Like, if I were her, I wouldn't feel very comfortable right now.
Well, we'll pray for you. We'll pray for your safety. But seriously, when someone of this high profile, with this many deep connections and potentially connections to, let's just say, unalived individuals in the past, man, for him to win like in sum total, to win and get through this, I would not want to be on the other side that said, hey, I was talking against you, brother.
Okay. I got a real question, and maybe other people can chime in.
Okay.
Check this question out. Would you rather be on Hillary Clinton's hit list or Diddy's hit list?
Oh, man. I the answer is quite clear to me. I'd rather be on Diddy's.
That's crazy.
Because Clinton, she's got
She's effective.
she's like numero uno, man. She knows how to get rid of people. Like her list is like over the hundreds.
I only asked that because next week in the studio, we're going to have a guy named Danny Williams who's going to come on the pod. Danny Williams is Bill Clinton's illegitimate black son.
Ooh, let's go.
I'm sure that he is on Hillary Clinton's radar.
I'm sure.
For sure.
For sure.
And he's going to be in the studio and we're talking about his
Yeah, but-
story. And I'm really excited about that one, to be honest.
But he hasn't been unalived yet, though.
No, he's still there.
So, man, why would you keep someone like that around? Because I remember watching, and we're not going to spoil anything here. I can't wait for the interview. It's going to be so much fun to have him in. But, I mean, he went through a pretty significant period of shouting from the rooftops, being like, "Hey, Bill, I'm your illegitimate son. Clearly, look at he's got the same mouth, he's got the same teeth structure. They're like spitting image.
It's just a darker skinned version of Bill Clinton. That's what it looks like. It's crazy.
And they almost have the same countenance of how they communicate and talk. Like it's like, bro, you truly an apple that's fallen from that tree.
Yeah. If you think Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's son, then there's no way you can deny this one. You know what I mean? If you're like, no, Justin Trudeau and Castro are not related, and you're like in that weird camp at this point, then maybe we won't convince you.
Well,
but if you believe that to be true, you 100% will see the resemblance
So
here.
let me ask you this. For you to give him an audience after the lull that he's had, because he went through this period where I saw some videos and stuff, years have gone by, for you to give him an audience, does that mean you're going to get on a list? Oh, wait, you're already on the list. That's right.
A friend of a friend said, "Hey, have you heard the story? I know this guy." He said, "I need to talk to him." I definitely want to talk to him.
When is he coming in?
Next week. He'll be here in 1 week. Bill Clinton's son.
Guys, make sure that you stay tuned for Bill Clinton's, you can't say son, proclaimed son.
Well, it's on his Twitter bio. It's on his Instagram bio. Son of the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton. It's on there, and they let it stay up there. Meaning, why?
Well,
Isn't that interesting?
yeah,
Because if
I-
it wasn't true and he was doing like press and media saying I am, there would be some sort of like cease and desist.
Some pushback?
Some pushback. The fact that they haven't, it's really interesting.
So I wonder. It makes me think about whether I should run an experiment and change my Twitter bios and my other bios say that I'm the son of some like rich sultan or something like that.
You can say you're Peter Trump. See what happens. I bet you get a cease and desist.
Do you think so?
I mean,
If I said I was the illegitimate son of Trump,
yeah, you would get a cease and desist. Somebody somewhere, a lawyer would send you a letter and say, "Don't do that."
I wonder if I'd get on Candace Owens for saying something like that.
She'll never hit anybody.
That's true. That's true. When are you gonna talk with Candace, man?
Hopefully, we've been reaching out. We've been in like slight communication. Hopefully, that Candace one happens soon. We're gonna link up with Jake Shields next week.
Ooh, Jake Shields.
I've been talking
his stuff.
to Myron, so we may go down to Miami.
I
and-
like him too.
and do something with Myron also. So a lot of stuff in the works. But if you want to know more and you want to not miss any of those, hit the like, subscribe, turn the notifications on. You know what the deal.
Absolutely, man. I'm so excited, man. I can't wait for this. The son of Clinton to come on the Matt Kim podcast.
That's gonna be wild.
He's got stories.
He's got unlimited stories, and I'm so curious about all of them. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
You have to ask for all the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Like give us all the deep. Give us the tea. Spill the tea, man. Give us the juice.
Yeah, we definitely need to do that one. Moving on. New York City is having a mayoral race. The primary had just gone through, and the contenders for the Democratic side were Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani. Andrew Cuomo, I don't know why they thought that would be an option, like he had a chance. He's probably like one of the most hated people in New York right now.
He did kill a lot of people in respirators.
And for some reason, they thought that they're going to make him run for mayor of New York City. Like, was that even... It's almost like the equivalent of them running Kamala.
Yeah.
Like, they ran him knowing that he had no chance. I don't know. And then you have this Zohran Mamdani guy who is like a Muslim Indian socialist.
Muslim Indian socialist. Yes, self-proclaimed.
That just became a United States citizen like 5 or 6 years ago.
Yep.
And he is
Naturalized.
trending hard.
Oh, he's all over the place.
He's like figured out what works in other cities around the world. What he's done. He's like He reminds me of what Vivek Ramaswamy did when he started trending.
Yeah.
He took all the data from the internet, figured out what works, what resonates with people, what the issues that people care about, and just went super hard on those few things.
It's almost like a playbook from Trump. And Trump, in a lot of ways, ran on this idea and theme of America first, which was obvious, right? MAGA, America first. But at the same time, he was speaking to the issues that regular Americans feel on the ground. So Zohran, this guy, what he's essentially doing is the same playbook. He's saying, what do my constituents care about? What are they complaining about? Where's the frustrations? Where's the conflicts? I'm going to speak directly to that. And he decided to be very pro-New York first, pro-New York, people first. And in a lot of ways, he ran on that idea and he got the ticket.
I mean, the first time I saw him was when they were doing the New York City mayor debate.
Yeah.
And they said, New York City mayors typically go international and say hi to a different country or visit another country. What country would you go to first? And there's like 6 people on there, 7 people on there.
Yeah.
Every single one goes, oh yeah, the first place I gotta go to Israel. And we're like, wait, what? That's Peter humping the wall, by the way. Every single New York City mayor said the first thing that they're gonna do once they get elected is that they're gonna go to Israel.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, this guy I'd never heard of, he's only like 33 years old or something.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm staying in New York City. And they're like, well, don't you need to go to Israel? And he's like, I can talk to like the synagogues here. There's a lot of Jewish people in New York. That's actually like almost just as many in New York as there are in Israel. I'm just going to talk to the ones here.
Yeah, and the guys that I like here, they smear on my bagels really well.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to the people and the bagel store owners and the synagogues and the schools. I'm going to talk to people in New York.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, but you need to go. He's like, no.
And that is when Zohran received a new lover in Matt. Matt was like, I like this guy.
It was different.
It was.
And
he was going against the grain.
I don't know if that was intentional. Maybe he knew that if he said that at that moment, that he would go viral. I don't know how calculated of a person he is, but seeing what he's doing online, it almost makes me feel like he knew that would be the better answer in that situation for clicks and views and attention. Because as we know, as we discussed with Diddy, there's no such thing as bad attention anymore.
No, not at all. And I love the fact that you used a Vivek Ramaswamy example, because Vivek seemed like he was produced. Does that make sense? He feels like Vivek came out with saying the right things at the right time. It was almost too perfect. And we'll give credit where credit is due. Vivek is a great communicator.
Yes.
He's a great communicator, fair enough. But Vivek was always able to point on the things that were like, yeah, I like that. I got you. Like, Vivek, good on you, mate. I like that idea. And so he was really programmed in a lot of ways. And I feel like this guy Zohran is very much programmed as well. It's almost too perfect, the things he's saying, for the audience that he's trying to get support from.
Yeah, what topics are trending?
Exactly.
What topics build up support?
Exactly.
What topics and issues can you build a community around? And those are the ones that are going to make my issues.
But at the same time, while he's saying all this flowery language, he is not shying away at all to his desire for clear socialism. Which is, I feel like that word has maybe been so diluted that people just don't even hear it anymore. Like, has socialism ever worked, Matt?
I mean, kind of.
Unpack that for me.
Okay. Well, so people say that China is a communist country, but it's not. If you actually ask Chinese, what they say is we are a socialist country hoping to achieve communism. China is socialist. They actually work out pretty well.
Fair enough.
And they're like if the United States is S tier, then they're still tier A, right?
In some ways, I'd say actually they're kind of S tier too in their own ways.
Vietnam is trending up in the right direction, and they're doing good, and they're doing the same experiment actually. And they went from a really poor, really war-ridden country to doing pretty all right. So, and they're growing at a rate that's better than maybe a lot of the capitalist small countries. So I'm not a socialist at all, But to say that it has zero success I don't think that's fair. I just don't agree with it.
Well, I think, yeah, and I don't want to choose a hard edge here. I think there's gradations of it.
Yeah.
Right. There's flavors of it, and I think every let's just say political system, whether it's socialist, communist, democratic republic, we could go on and on and on, right? There's different shades of gray and the different shades of color throughout all of that. So there's no perfect political system, but some are working better than others. And so what you're saying is,
and when you think about Germany, they weren't. If you remove the killing of people, they were the National Socialist Party. They were.
Yeah, but
as far as a country, they were doing all right.
But the national socialist aspect, the national social, I think that was the winner. It wasn't necessarily the socialism aspect. It was the fact that it was a national socialist, which essentially means three things: their country first, their issues first, their people first. That's essentially what national socialism is, right?
And this guy Zohran.
I'm just saying Zohran, and I'm going with
Zohran. Okay, me too. Fine, Zohran. If what we know is that when politicians win, they campaign on we're going to do all these things, but once you win, you're just a politician,
bro. Say less.
You just say what you feel like will get you elected, and once you're elected, you're just another politician. So it's like, oh, this guy's a socialist, and he's going to turn New York City socialist. No, it doesn't matter who's mayor. They make small changes, and they affect maybe the direction of the city. But no mayor has ever gone in and completely changed. Actually, the only one that I thought was really effective in New York City was Giuliani.
He did clean up the streets.
He went in and said, no, we're going to clean up 42nd Street, we're going to clean up Times Square, and we're just going to arrest anyone that has that looks shady at all. And people are like, no, you can't do that. But the shit worked.
It did clean it up.
So unless Zohran goes Giuliani level, I don't think he makes impact.
You don't think so?
I mean,
So whenever you brought up this thing and it brought up, you said, politicians, they win on the rhetoric, and then once they get into office, they're just a politician.
Yeah, then they have their own agenda.
And,
that's
they're just
not told.
They're just playing to the donors.
Yeah.
Right, playing to the donors. When you said that, man, what rose up in my gut was Trump. I mean, can we just take a second as a small sidebar? Is Trump failing in his mandate? Did he rug pull us? Did he win on the rhetoric of saying he's going to change stuff, he's going to make stuff better, he's going to da 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 da? And now we're half a year into it, and a whole bunch of nothing has happened, and it seems like it's the same shit, different day, different term, same shit.
I think the problem is I don't think in his mind he's thinking, how do I ruin the country? How do I do something that's bad for America?
No.
I don't think he thinks that at all. I think his intent is, I want to make America better. I really do believe that. I just don't agree with his methodology.
Or you could say you don't agree with his methodology. How about his efficacy? Has he actually been effective?
Well, and that's
nothing's really changed, Matt.
That's the hardest part, right? Do the means matter for the ends? And some people say, I think Trump is a ends justify the means kind of person. I am the means, the means is important to the end.
You mean your principles matter?
But for him, I think he's more ends focused. So he has these goals and all these things that he wants to achieve that he thinks is going to be better for America, and he's willing to do anything to get there. The problem with that is that that's very high risk, high reward. And the high risk plays haven't really played out yet.
No, they haven't.
Could they? At the end of 4 years, he'd be like, holy shit, I can't believe he pulled that off. It's possible, actually. I'm not going to say it's impossible.
So let me ask you, are we still giving money to Israel?
Yes. And Ukraine.
That was the next thing. So, efficacy be damned. Nothing's actually changed, man.
And did we lower the federal deficit? No.
No.
And will this new one big bill, one big beautiful bill, one big beautiful bill, big bill, black better bill?
I've just been saying big booty bill.
The big booty bill?
Yep, big booty bill.
It's not easy to say it either. The one big beautiful bill.
Yeah.
Does that reduce our spending or increase our spending?
It seems like it's actually, if you look under the covers, now, of course, I could be wrong. The internet sleuths can correct me. But it seems like we're actually increasing spending.
We are. Are we going to get the I saw AOC rant about this. Are we going to get the no tax on tips for everybody? And the reality is no. They're capping it at $25,000. Are we going to get the no tax on Social Security like that was promised? No, it's going to be capped at $6,000. So they promised a lot, and they're going to achieve a portion of it. I mean, no tax on tips for $25,000 is still a lot of money.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's still money in people's pocket.
We'll take it.
But it's not what was promised. And if people are disappointed or upset about that, you can't blame them. Like I was talking about this the other day, and I was like, look, the Ukraine war was supposed to stop within 24 hours. He told us that unlimited times. Within 24 hours of me being president, the war in Ukraine will stop. I will negotiate a deal so big, so amazing, so great that it will stop day one.
That was pretty good with Trump.
Thank you.
So great.
So great.
So great.
And the reality, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then people will chime in, and you got the Uber MAGA will be like, no, like it takes time to make these deals. Great. Fine. I get that. But do you know what? Don't be mad at me for that. I didn't make that fucking promise. I'm not the one that went on the internet and went on campaigns and went on rallies and said, I'm going to do it in 24 hours. And then all of a sudden I didn't perform. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
I didn't make the promise. Don't be mad at me because I'm holding him accountable to it. He went out there and said, in 24 hours, it's going to be over. It's going to be so amazing, so beautiful. And it didn't happen.
Yeah.
How is that shit my fault? I didn't promise you that. They did. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, look, guys, you promised us one thing, and maybe it takes longer, but you didn't meet your expectation. You didn't meet your promise. It's like if you have a business and you have deliverables and you have a team and they say, when 1 week, I'm going to have this report for you. And you're like, no, you call them, hey, when can you get this report to me by? Like, oh, I'll have it to you by Friday. Great. You told me Friday.
Yeah.
Give it to me on Friday.
Exactly.
I didn't tell you to do it by Friday. You said.
You volunteered that.
You voluntarily said Friday.
Yeah.
And if it's not Friday, on Monday, like, oh, sorry, man. Like, thing happened. I'll have it to you by Tuesday. Great.
If they're responsible, they would have told you on Thursday. They'd say, hey, you know what? I said Friday, constraint happened, meeting happened, life happens, da-da-da. Not Friday, probably Monday, right?
The worst thing to do is I'll have it to you by Friday. And then when Friday doesn't come around, you don't say anything and you never do it. Fire that guy immediately.
Fire that guy. Yes. Yes.
And this is what we're dealing with. You can't just make all these bold claims and then when you don't meet the result that you promised, ignore them.
Like all the files, the JFK files,
the JFK files, the Epstein files, the unredacted list.
Yeah,
you know,
MLK.
the mass deportations that we were promised, but now actually deporting less people than Biden did. It's like, wait a second.
And Obama. I think Obama actually, if
The
I remember
deporter in chief.
Yeah, he deported more people than Trump has.
I mean, Obama set the standard of what deportations look like.
I mean,
and we don't even like Obama.
I mean, I know. We don't even like his husband either. Like, we don't like the man. Like, but he actually has better numbers than Trump,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Daggone.
Although, I did hear about this alligator Alcatraz. You know, we have this alligator. You can't see on the camera. We have this alligator meme picture and poster on the wall. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea what that's supposed to do, but just the fact that there's like an alligator moat being built, I'm like intrigued.
Can I just say, when I first heard about the alligator Alcatraz, I truly thought it was going to be a game show.
Oh, like Squid Games.
Like Squid Games. Like, serious. I thought it was going to be like, oh my gosh, they're going to have cameras in there and they're going to be following these people around. It's going to be this docudrama thing. But apparently this thing is actually being built.
I don't think they're actually building it. It's just because it's located near the swamp in Florida.
Oh, it doesn't actually have alligators?
There's a lot of alligators in the area. So like if they try to escape, that they would have to run through the swamp.
Oh, but they didn't actually import alligators?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's
Florida's
bullshit.
full of them.
You don't have to import alligators in Florida, bro.
No, I understand.
There's
but,
a shit ton.
You know, there was this meme during when they were talking about what Trump's going to do at the border. And Trump had this idea that he threw out there is that, hey, why don't we just put alligators at the border? And I was like, that could work.
It could work.
I'm not like anti that. You know, I think that's a great idea.
It's cheaper than building a wall.
But if the solution is we're going to build a penitentiary in an area with alligators, it's like another promise not fulfilled to me.
Ooh.
I was told there'd be a border with alligators, and if you try to cross the border, the alligators are going to get you. And I liked that idea.
Is that what you voted for?
I voted for that idea.
You voted for the wall plus alligators.
A moat of alligators across the street outside of the wall with lasers. We were told lasers.
Lasers. Yes, lasers. I
Were
like
the
that too.
lasers at the wall with the alligator moat. That's what I voted for.
That's Star Wars-y. I love it.
I did not vote for a penitentiary in an area with alligators, and you call alligator, penitentiary or whatever they're calling it.
Alligator Alcatraz.
Alligator Alcatraz. Like, it's not the same.
Trump, you've disappointed Matt Kim. For that, 19 lashes.
If you're going to call it alligator Alcatraz, you have to build a moat around the prison with alligators.
With live streaming cameras so we could see the action as it happens.
I would vote for that. And do you know what?
+1.
I did.
You did?
That's what I voted for.
You voted for it.
Alligators at the border.
So Trump is, I hate to say this, and the MAGA people are despise it when people compare Trump to previous presidents and their lack of ability to execute on their campaign promises. But it seems like Trump is a whole bunch of nothing burger so far. And don't get on me. He's still, in his first year or so we have some time to go. But it seems like he's just going to be another 4-year term with lots of campaign promises and nothing actually exacted. Is that what we're going to get?
Yeah,
a whole big nothing burger?
A lot of promises were put for the first 90 days. We're going to do all this stuff in 90 days.
Nothing. I don't think anything's happened.
And then people said, well, you can't criticize him yet. It's only been 1 month. Okay. You can't criticize him yet. It's only been 2 months. Okay. You can't criticize him yet. It's only been 90 days. Okay. You can't criticize him yet. It's only been 100 days. Okay. You can't criticize it. It's only been 6 months. It's like, wait a second.
Man, those goalposts keep moving.
When do we stop moving goalposts?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Let's go back. Let's go back to Zohran. So Zohran, do you think he's going to be effective as a new New York socialist?
Well, I think it'd be interesting to see what happens with Eric Adams. I saw that Eric Adams was going to run as an independent.
Oh.
And Eric Adams was the former mayor.
Yeah.
I actually kind of liked Eric Adams.
Why?
Because at the time where, it was where all the Democratic mayors were very much on this, let's bring in all the illegal immigrants and let's make it all. And he said, no, dude, New York, we're full.
Yeah.
We can't, this enough. And as soon as he went against the establishment, they came after him. They said, oh, look, he's getting free first-class flights to Greece or whatever.
Of course. They always bring out the
And it's like, well, they all get first-class flights. This is not new.
Yeah.
If you're the country of Greece and the mayor of New York City is arriving, you're not going to make him stay at the Holiday Inn. You're going to put him in the Four Seasons. That's
course.
Normal.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I agree with that, but they all do it.
Yeah. They all do it.
But they singled them out for that. They arrested him on a plane. They made a big deal about it. And the fact that they put so much pressure on him and so much political public pressure on him to be oh, look, Eric Adams is bad. I'm like, maybe I like him. You know what I mean?
The more that the public and the politicians and the little hats hate this an individual, the more Matt likes him. It's an inverse correlation.
That's exactly how it works.
I like it.
But then he got so much pressure, he kind of caved a little bit.
Yeah.
And he retracted. And he's like, no, okay, maybe we shouldn't do that. And he went to the, and they didn't even invite him to the DNC.
Well, yeah, because the donors were like, hey, man, your money funnel is going to start drying up if you start saying the wrong stuff.
And then he went on Tucker, and Tucker interviewed him, and that was an opportunity for him to go hard.
Yeah.
And he kind of just stayed really political.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, man, I kind of wish he went hard because I would have liked them.
Well, have a spine. I watched that.
Yeah.
He had zero spine. He kept going back to the same political points. And it's like, if you stay at the political point level, then we never get to understand two things. We never get to understand your motives, and we never get to understand your personality. That's the problem. It's so many of these politicians, we don't actually know who they are. All we know is clips and talking points of what the perception needs to be, right? So we have this perception right now of Zohran as this socialist who's going to create Walmarts and food stores for everyone that's going to be run by the government. When has anything been run by the government? Has it been great? Like when has that ever happened? And so he has all these very outlandish campaign promises to the New Yorkers, but the New Yorkers seem to be really liking him. So what's that all about?
I mean, I wish that
Who's his target market?
I think it's just the city in general. Younger people that are not as wealthy, people that are struggling in New York City, that are feeling disenfranchised. I mean, we've seen this model work, especially in London. Cities all over the world where when things get weird, things get tough, when the economy is promised to be better but doesn't fulfill, and you're feeling kind of the social pressure and the social breakdown around society around you, then this kind of socialist, more for the people, more social program type of rhetoric, it works.
Sounds like Batman. Where the line in Batman is they turned to a man they didn't fully understand.
And we know Democrats. Like if he wins, if Zohran wins, he's gonna screw everyone over, and he's gonna sell out, and he's gonna fall in line with the establishment, and they're not gonna get what they asked for, and they're not gonna get what they voted for, and they're just shooting themselves in the foot. But it's New York City. It's gonna happen anyway. It actually doesn't matter who wins. They're still gonna get.
Did you hear he comes from a rich family too?
Really?
Yeah. Did you know that his mom is a famous Bollywood actress?
Really?
Yeah. He's part of the puppies. He's part of the players in the game. Like, he comes from a rich family. His mom is like multimillionaire Bollywood actress over in India. Like, he comes from high stock.
Damn, can you imagine how many Indian clippers he has clipping his content and putting it all over the internet to make him famous?
SARS.
And he's buying it at like pennies on the dollar.
Well, AI is actually Indians.
Yeah.
So
we did see that.
Yeah, AI is actually Indian. So he has an Indian horde who, if we
You said horde, not whore.
Horde. An Indian horde that if we speak badly, we might get a lot of SARS that are going to be pooflinging at us about this.
During the H-1B debate, we got a lot of
poo.
That's where the whole poo-flinger came from.
We were inundated with poo.
They came so hard at us because we were so anti, opening up the country to all these foreign workers when people in America are having a hard time getting jobs. And we were just trying to be supportive of the American economy like we thought we were supposed to do because we voted for America first.
Oh.
And somehow...
It'd be so egregious.
We got all these pooflingers like, well, you can't talk about the Indians.
I had, which is so funny because like whenever I use the poop emoji, like I think that's cute AF.
Yeah.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
So when I got all these poop emojis in my DMs from SARS, I was like, that's kind of cute, bro. Like, you're terrible. Why are you talking about Indian people are the best? You're the terrible Asian, and the poop emoji. It's like, cute? So he's going to win. New York is going to continue its downward spiral. He's speaking to the disenfranchised of New York, the ones that can't find jobs, the one need help, and so they're turning to a man they don't fully understand. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and who is playing the game of the internet like perfectly.
I mean, he speaks well too.
He speaks well.
Even when he says socialism, he speaks well.
Even when he walks around, he's doing videos like walking through the city, doing that.
He's
eating with his hands to make him like relatable and ethnic, and in New York, it's such an ethnic city.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, look at him being real, and it like works because the rest of America's like, oh, look how filthy it is. Why are you eating with your hand? Like, use a fucking fork. But to the demographic in which he's trying to reach, it's working.
Someone can correct me on this, but I feel like I saw something where 60 to 70% of New York is not American. They're like different ethnicities, different nationalities. So he's gonna have a multicultural melting pot up there to deal with. And
the uber rich in New York, they always say, if this happens, we're leaving New York.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. They're going to stay.
They don't leave. They just stay. It becomes a talking point. Oh, look, we're going to lose all the tax dollars because the rich are going to leave New York, and who's going to pay for all these services? And at the end of the day, they actually don't leave.
So you think nothing's going to change?
They're going to call this bluff.
He's going to win. Nothing's going to change.
Oh, look, Eric Adams trends. It's not impossible.
Yeah, but let's just play to the end of the story. Fox News will and all the conservatives will be like, up in arms, we have a socialist now that's running New York, but nothing's going to change.
Yeah, I mean, the right and the conservatives are like, oh, that guy is a socialist, but they're only talking to people that are right, and New York is like a Democrat city. They actually don't care what Fox News is saying.
Yeah, they love it.
You know, like, look at all these conservative podcasters talking about how much they hate Mamdani, and it's like, wait, but the people in New York aren't listening to them, so actually it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and so I had this when we talked about this at lunch a little bit. I had this feeling like New York is just going to eat itself, but you would say that New York's just going to get on the way it's been getting on.
New York
it's not going to get any worse. You don't think so with a socialist mayor?
I mean, it got really bad when the illegal immigrants were everywhere.
Yeah,
but it's not as bad anymore. They always kind of figure it out. You know, it's such a big city, and the people who live in New York just absolutely love New York. I don't know why, because I've lived in New York. It's not that awesome living, but there's like this weird sense of pride that comes with being a New Yorker. And I think anyone that's ever lived in New York understands that. If you live in New York City, you're like, I'm a New York City person. I live in New York. I'm a New Yorker. I'm kind of better than you.
Ooh.
And
do you really still think New York has that shine?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, if you meet someone from New York, that's just how they act. That's just in their, I don't want to say DNA because it's not like genetic, but it's what they believe. And they carry themselves as such. And if you do any sort of big business, or if you're anywhere in the world and you go to New York, like, oh, New York. It's still New York City. And I don't think that goes away. It's still the center of the world, you know?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's probably going to get a lot more socialist and Democrat, but I don't know. Like, I don't live there. What do I care if they pay more taxes and in that small island, if they pay more taxes and poor people get more money? Like, what do I care about that, actually?
Well, you don't, but if I can add a little bit of color to this conversation, two really important things come out of New York. Number one, policies. And number two...
Pizza. I love pizza.
Will said pizza. But policies and
halal guys.
Well...
Apparently you can eat with your hands.
Well, I was going to... mine's a little bit higher level. Policies and pop culture.
Yeah.
That is what's exported from New York, is that the policies of New York does have somewhat of a trickle effect to the rest of America, because we love in America to create national policies, regulations, and laws and legislation based off the fringe of the world, right? The whole trans stuff, when that was getting deep and heavy, it's like, and that was a big thing in New York, right? And so they lead that, and that pop culture that they export from New York is not, let's just say, the most wholesome of culture. And so I feel like regardless of, the inner workings and the inner effects of what happens in New York City with this mayoral, process and this new mayor that might be a socialist, fine. At the end of the day, they're still going to export not good stuff from New York. And so I feel like that, if anything, is going to get worse, is they're going to export more bad policies out of New York because they have such a big megaphone, right? It's New York City, right? And since they have such a big megaphone, that politics and the pop culture, I think it's just going to get even worse over time, don't you think?
Well, okay, I got a question for you. Do you think the degenerate culture of New York or the degenerate culture of LA is worse?
Oh,
who is the leader in
degeneracy?
In degeneracy of this country. Is it LA or is it New York?
Well, they both LA. So my wife is from LA, so I have more experience in LA than I'd like, and I spent a lot of time up in New York. I lived up in New York for a while. I visited New York City a lot, and I've worked on Wall Street there. Well, the demographics of LA and New York are somewhat the same. They have the same, let's just say, short species of group of people who control the narrative, control the entertainment, control the pop culture, control policy, and control, unfortunately, finances. So if I were to say which is worse, New York or LA, I think I'd have to say New York for sure, because they control more of the financial policies in the financial banking world, right, than LA. And LA has a win on its side, and the win is they have better weather. New York is just gloomy as hell all the time.
I think that there has been a shift in society where attention is the new currency of the world,
Oh,
not
yeah.
dollars. And if attention is the currency of the world, then I would say that LA has more social impact on the country. I think
because
LA
of the
is,
entertainment.
yeah, because all the influencers come from there, all the media comes from there, all of Hollywood is there. Everything trends out of LA now. If you want to do stuff online, like you go to LA, and that's where the attention is. And if attention is new currency of the world, then I think LA has more power now in that realm. I think that the money follows the attention. The attention is no longer following the money.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I would disagree with you, mostly because on two things. Number one, the weather in LA is just better. It's just it's harder to be salty all the time when you have nice weather. New York, it's the financial institutions and the financial policies and the financial regulation, all that crap. That is what makes New York far worse, because the New York policies and the New York banking and the New York financiers, they affect global macroeconomics, political stuff. And so I think New York still probably is the deepest seed of degeneracy and terrible humans. Whereas
Not all New Yorkers.
not all, but
Just some.
LA is probably a very close second. Very close second. I think LA has more tunnels, probably. Wait, no. We did see a lot of tunnels in New York.
New York's definitely got a lot of tunnels.
People crawling out of people. There was an interesting species group crawling out of tunnels in New York a little while back, but we're not allowed to talk about that. There were mattresses involved as well. Unfortunate.
And like dolls and shit.
Terrible people. Terrible humans.
Terrible.
As we like to say in the South, terrible. Shit fire.
Through this one big, beautiful bill, we have seen this war and rivalry building between Elon and Trump. My question right now is, if they were to fight, like a real physical fight, who got your money on, Elon or Trump?
Oh, man. Well, see,
They're about the same size.
they're about the same size. They are about the same size. I think Elon could probably throw his weight around a little bit more. Trump seems like he's a little bit less agile. So I would put my money on Elon. Plus, Elon has that like extended rib cage thing going on. You know what I'm talking about? The extended rib cage issue. There's like an actual like disease around that. I'm not saying that he has this disease, but like I feel like Elon in his extended rib cage would be able to take out Trump. Plus, he's a little bit younger.
He is younger. I think that if they were to have a physical fight, I think that Trump would win.
Why?
Because Trump is a little more athletic. He also is, and he's also kind of more in this manosphere, meaning he's been around it. He's really big into UFC.
Yeah.
Meaning he likes this type of combat sport.
Maybe
He's
he's
always
done
been a fan of it. He has guys like Dana White, who is really close to. Like, this fighting has always been a part of him. You know, that this desire to fight, desire to win, desire to win at all costs. Whereas Elon is more like this.
He's a nerd.
Yeah, he's a nerd that like pretends he's more important and smart than he is. Where he fakes his game ranking. Like, you have to be a pretty big nerd to be this internet guy that fakes his game ranking in order to get clicks and views and be more popular.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
So when I take those things into account, I put my money on Trump. What do you guys think, by the way? Who wins in a fight, Trump or Elon?
I love how Matt and I completely think on different wavelengths around stuff. Like I come from a very like logical, rational mental model, and that's my personality. So when you ask me questions like an Elon versus Trump, I look at all the very measurable, like youth, like size, like physics, like, but then I don't think about the psychology, right? Trump is a fighter. He got
for sure.
shot in the face.
Yeah.
Right? Supposedly. Or whatever.
It's close enough.
Close enough.
It's close enough so it's still a gangster.
Yeah, still gangster.
Yeah.
And like, you're right. He does have a lot of counsel from actual fighters. People, right? Whereas Elon, you're not wrong. And I haven't thought about it this way. I might have thought it in the past, but I haven't thought about it this way in a long time. Is Elon kind of is a faker.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to like the manliness aspect. Like if you strip away a lot of the kind of the optics, Elon's not a very manly man,
No.
right? I mean, he's got like, what, 9 wives or 9 baby mamas or whatever and 14 kids. Fair enough. But he's not very manly. You're not wrong.
I mean, there was this opportunity.
You're not really manly if you make electric vehicles.
Oh, shit. There was an opportunity, I think it was a year and a half ago, for Elon to fight Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh,
Remember
yeah,
that?
That's right.
And Elon over Mark Zuckerberg probably has 100 pounds and 6 inches of height. Mark Zuckerberg's like small guy.
Yeah.
He's like my size,
He's
not
short,
big guy.
He's short stack.
And Elon's
Well, he's gotten jacked recently, though.
correct. But he's what, $140, $150 at best?
Yeah, maybe.
Elon's like 220,
Yeah.
230, maybe more.
Probably more.
Maybe 260.
Maybe 250.
Like 6'2", 260.
Yeah.
If that was a real consideration, all Elon would have to do is just learn a little bit and just lean on him.
Yeah.
And even though Mark Zuckerberg is more skilled, I think Elon will win just by pure size alone.
Though Mark actually trains.
Like he's serious about
So
this.
he might be able to choke him out. Like if you can get him, if he can get him on the mat,
possible.
he'd probably be able to, wrangle his little rat body around Elon and strangle him out, something like that. Yeah. So,
But after all this back and forth and him like, oh, we're going to fight at the Colosseum in Rome. Remember that?
yes.
After all of it, Elon's like, just kidding. I don't want to fight him. I was like, oh, you bitch.
He did bitch out on that one.
He totally bitched out. I was like, come on, you can't talk about it like this. You could have done it for charity.
No.
You could have done it pay-per-view, donated every single dollar to like a good cause. Everyone would have paid, everyone would have watched. It would have been a huge thing. You could have made it, put so many rules around it so that no one could get hurt, just for entertainment for people.
Yeah.
And it could have been a good thing for the entire world.
I would have actually paid for that and not used a VPN.
If you use a VPN, vp.net, check that one out.
Perfect plug. You got it, brother. You got it.
But they could have done a lot of good with that because the entire world was focused in on, are they going to fight?
They should have done it, man. They could have raised so much money for good cause.
Even Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fought, and they literally didn't fight.
Yeah, and his Jake Paul's brother's fighting right now and doing all that.
They literally just like, they spent the last minute hugging.
Yeah.
It's not even a real fight, but at least they did it and they got the clicks and the views. Imagine if Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg did something similar. People are like, oh, I can't believe you guys did it. And you guys were like fake and whatever. It doesn't actually matter. They could have raised so much money and done so much good for the world with the money that generated. Instead, Elon bitched out.
So let me ask you this. Would you ever do a charity fight?
Huh.
Just popped up in my mind.
I don't know.
He's bitching out, guys. He's bitching out. Would you do a charity fight for a good cause?
Damn, who should I fight?
I mean, now's an opportunity to call someone out and make it happen. I mean, you're gonna be hanging out with Jake Shields. You don't want to fight him, though.
No, I'm not fighting. I'm going to ask Jake Shields to train me. How about that?
You don't want to fight a real fighter.
No. I'm going to ask Jake Shields to fight me. I mean, not fight me. Whoa, take that back.
Whoa, clip that moment.
I'm going to ask Jake Shields to train me.
Who have you talked to so far in all of your adventures of podcasting? Who?
Oh, I'll totally fight Vivek.
That might be a fair fight. I like this idea, Vivek. Oh, bro.
I could totally fight Vivek.
Vivek, we're calling you out right now because when anyone types in anything that's negative about Vivek in a Google search, they come up with your video.
Yeah.
If it's a
He
positive,
can't love me.
yeah. If it's a positive, if it's Vivek fill in the blank positive statement, they'll never find you.
Yeah.
But if it's Vivek fill in the blank negative comment, like your video comes up first. So I bet we could get some people to reach out to Vivek. Let them know we got an opportunity for
Cage
a good
match?
cage match, good cause. We can figure out where it goes. Could go to diapers, could go to whatever, charity water or something like this. Privacy oriented things. This I would love to see that. You versus Vivek. I mean, how awkward would that fight be? I've never seen you fight.
I'm not a big guy.
Yeah, but you know how some guys punch and they punch and it's like, dude, you punch like a bitch.
I did do Taekwondo for a very long time.
So I think your form would be good.
Yeah, I did teach Taekwondo when I was in high school.
You wouldn't be fighting like.
No. I wouldn't look like an asshole, but I'm not fighting like Jake Shields. You know what I mean? I'm not fighting like a real fighter.
Do you think Vivek would fight you like this?
Yeah. I mean, do you remember him rapping? The fighting, Vivek fighting
Abu,
would be like
Abu,
him.
stop.
rapping. It's gonna be like really cringe.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe you should just
Matt
go back
hasn't
to
worked
time.
out in 10 years either.
That's true. But we did meet at the gym.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
did.
I can get in there.
Matt can get back in it. So maybe you're going to be hanging out with Jake Shields in the future over in Vegas. Maybe he can give you some fighting tips. And man, how cool would it be if Vivek said yes to a Matt? I could see it now. The Matt Kim versus Vivek. People would lose their shit. I would lose my shit if I saw that. I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
So
That would be amazing.
at VP.net, we are working on a sponsorship deal with LFA,
Okay.
Legacy Fighting Alliance. So it's basically the minor leagues to UFC. 40% of UFC fighters come through LFA. The owners and the people over there have become very good friends of mine, and we're going to do some branding with them, etc. So I've been going to the LFA fights. I've been hanging out. I think I get trained up. Maybe we'll do it in a cage.
Okay,
They have
alright,
a cage.
all right.
Yeah.
Y-
We could televise this thing.
I mean,
Get on an undercard somewhere.
Let's be honest. Fights are entertaining.
Dude, maybe I could fight Zohran.
Make it happen.
Zohran Mamdani.
Make it so. Make it so. Let's manifest it, man. Let's make
Yeah,
it so.
I'll fight him.
I mean, years ago. It seems weird for me to say it this way, but years ago we had no idea that you'd be hanging out live and hanging out with Tucker. Years ago we had no idea you'd be hanging out with the Tates. Years ago we'd never imagined you standing next to President Trump and him saying "beautiful baby" or whatever he said. Like, we never imagined these things to happen. So for us to even think that it couldn't be possible, or in the spectrum of possibility that you could fight a Zohran or you fight a Vivek. Why are we picking on the Indos?
I don't, because
I just
flinging poo. You know what I mean?
we're getting all the poo flingers back for trying to demonetize us and censor us and shut us down.
Actually, if we take this whole thing back and circle back to the mayor, Eric Adams versus Zohran Mamdani as like a promo going to election season, that actually may be awesome.
Aren't we in that world though?
Yeah, let's get the mayoral candidates of New York City to wrestle.
We're in that
You, don't
timeline.
have to, you can't punch the face because they're like public figures. Fine, like you can put all these rules, give them really heavy.
Well, you give them give them
Give them
the
face guards
masks.
and
Yeah,
masks
yeah.
and gloves on.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a friend who built this technology where you put gloves and it's got sensors on, and it meters the hits like Street Fighter.
Oh, so when
you
your bar
fight,
when
yeah,
your bar
you-
goes down.
Yeah, your fight, and based on impact, the bar goes down.
Yeah.
You could even put those two in that type of arena.
Guys, let's make it happen. This
You
could
know?
be a thing.
You could win votes from the people on the other side if you just fought. Actually, I mean, dude, this is clown world. We're living in idiocracy. This is not crazy.
This is not this is the timeline that we have accepted. This is it.
I mean, for example, right now, President Trump is so mad at Thomas Massie, right? And Elon said, "I'm going to back Thomas Massie."
Of course, as opposites attract.
The people in Kentucky who vote for Thomas Massie really like Thomas Massie.
Did you watch this Theo Vaughn interview?
I watched part of it. I'm kind of a Thomas Massie fan. And I think that I like that he represents his constituents. I think that a congressman should represent the people that voted for him, not represent the party. I know that's a crazy idea, but that is literally the job of Congress, to represent its constituents, not to represent the party. And somehow in this 2025 kind of congressional presidential cycle that we're in, everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe you voted against our agenda." It's like, no, your job is to vote for my agenda,
Exactly.
not our agenda.
Exactly.
If you represent me, you're supposed to represent me. I feel like Thomas Massie does that. Why? Because he wins his election cycle every single time by like ridiculous margins.
Yeah.
People voted for him. They want him to do what he does. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I don't agree with at times, she is uber popular in her congressional district.
Yes.
She is doing what they want her to do. Maybe a pain in the butt for all of MAGA, maybe a pain in the butt for the entire Republican Party. But again, your job is not to represent the party. Your job is to represent your constituents.
You got it. It almost seems like that was kind of the undersigned of becoming a representative of your constituency as they vote you in, is that you're supposed to be the voice for the people who voted you in, not necessarily for the apex of the world or the larger agenda. Makes a lot of, what you're saying makes a lot of sense, Matt, is what I'm saying.
And a special shout out and side note to my congressman, Andrew Clyde, who we've interviewed on the podcast before, who I'm a big fan of. I think it's really rare in life, especially in this country, where you actually like your own congressman. I really like him. Mm-hmm. He takes no money from AIPAC. He is always on the forefront of everything 2A. Mm-hmm. He voted last night against the big, beautiful bill.
Oh, he did.
He's one of the 4 or 5 people that did it.
Oh, really? Wow.
I think eventually he's shifted, but at least he signaled that, hey, I have a problem here.
Lie to me harder.
I like him. I like the fact that he takes almost no outside money. Mm-hmm. He pretty much self-funds the entire campaign himself. And he cares about things, and you don't see him in the news. He's just sitting there working on policy. And he votes against shit all the time. But because he's not on the internet and because he's not doing a lot of interviews, people don't know his name. But Andrew Clyde, my representative from Northern Georgia, that's my guy.
Props to you. And what is fascinating in this clown world timeline that we're in, that a Thomas Massie would be getting as much playtime as he is. Because what you just said is absolutely true. If you have a politician who is actually doing the right thing, actually being the voice of his or her constituency, saying no to the hard things, saying yes to the hard things, and not compromising, not becoming essentially a small hat representative, right? They usually get zero playtime because you cannot allow for good people to do good things. And so it is fascinating that in this clown world of a timeline that we live in, that Thomas Massie is getting as much playtime as he is when we have the President of the United States telling the world on the Twitter sphere and on the Truth Social sphere that he's against him, right? And so what is Thomas Massie doing that is allowing him this much playtime, number one, and what is making Thomas Massie successful, do you say?
Well, I think he's been consistent. Thomas Massie was, I'm America first, and anything that's against the America first agenda, I'm against. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend more money, I don't like it. He has this pin with the federal deficit.
I love that.
That's always counting.
Yeah.
And anyone asks him, like, how come you don't support Israel? He's like, because I'm American. I don't want AIPAC money. That's not American money. That's not American agenda. I want to focus on things that are better for my constituents.
Oh, man.
And how can you be mad at that? You don't have to agree with him, by the way.
Yeah.
But he represents the people that elected him. That's how every congressperson should be. They should represent your interest and your interest only, not the greater overall interest.
So you just said you don't have to agree with Thomas Massie being America first.
No.
Essentially.
He doesn't represent you.
So let me ask you this. Why do you think people are against America first? Like I in my rational brain, it is so hard for me to conceive of a reality in which you live in America, you benefit from American infrastructure, social systems, social services, governmental good or bad, oversight and constraints. Like, you live in America, you benefit. Period, full stop. What in a person, Matt, maybe you can answer this for me. What in a person with all of that context would not vote for people who are America first?
Tribalism.
Ooh. Is it as simple as that?
I think it's simple as that.
Is it where dogma overtakes rationalism? It's just like my red versus blue. My team red must win. My team blue must win. Right? That's it.
Yeah, it's this weird party politics. Party is more important than your constituents. Party is more important than your individual. Party is king. And let me tell you something. This is exactly why we did not like the Democratic Party. Because the Democratic Party is party first.
Oh, yeah. They made that clear.
The MAGA movement was supposed to be, it's not party first, it's America first. But now that MAGA has won, it's party first.
Nah.
It's the same shit that the other side has done. And maybe that's how politics is. I don't know. But, okay.
So
Elon came out and he said, I'm going to start a third party. if this bill passes.
Yeah.
And everyone here knows we're not big Elon fans.
Yeah.
But he said, I'm going to start a third party, and it's going to be a Freedom Party or America First Party, whatever it was. I forget the name of the party. I'm going to start a third party. And they did a poll, and they found out 70% of people would be actually really interested in the third party.
I think I remember that, yeah.
He has so much data right now on the United States. When he says something, I don't even know if he believes it. I think he's an egotist, like technocrat, king, wannabe ruler of the world type of guy. I don't trust him at all. But he has enough data on the country to know what's actually resonating with people. So when he comes out and says, I'm going to support Thomas Massie, I'm against this bill, and I want to start a third party, do you know what that says? I don't fucking care what Elon says. It means America is actually talking about that. Actually means it has a possibility.
It's very meta of you.
It just doesn't have to be him.
It's very meta of you. I think in many polls where they're actually trying to poll accurately, we find that most Americans are America first. Most Americans are rational, down to earth, salt of the earth individuals who just want three things: happiness, peace, and prosperity. Right?
Safety.
Safety. Right? Call it safety. Right? They want to live alone in peace. They want to build their family. They don't want the government involved. They don't want to pay a lot of taxes. They don't want their eggs to be $9 an egg. Right? They want their gas to be back to. It would be great if it was back to 82 cents. Oh, do you remember those days back in the 90s? Like, Americans are very simple. Most people in the world are simple creatures. We just want peace. We want prosperity, and we want you to leave us the fuck alone. Like, that is like the majority of humans, and so. It is good to know that that the vast majority in surveys, in honest surveys, really are America first, really are kind of more to a Thomas Massie type of model. That's good to hear. That's encouraging.
I think a third party would be extremely interesting.
Do you think they'd even have a cold day in hell's chance to win, actually, though?
I think if someone like Elon were to fund it and push it, I don't think it's impossible. I don't love the idea that Elon would be in charge of it because I don't like him at all.
He's
and
a
I don't
loose
trust
cannon.
him. Exactly.
He's proven that.
Yes. I have a lot of problems with him. But the reality is, if you want to actually have a chance at a successful third party, you need someone like him, basically who has unlimited money to fund it.
And
it's not possible without him or someone like him.
Yeah. And if I may, it probably will cost less than sending a rocket to create a third party in terms of monetary funding requirements, right? Somebody
has to eventually do it. I don't think that he should be the leader of it.
Yeah.
You know, like if Tucker ran as a third party candidate.
You like Tucker?
I like Tucker. I think he's an honest, genuine guy. I don't agree with him on everything, but I don't think he's a liar. You know what I mean? And people are like, oh, he's like a CIA plan. I don't think so, actually, at all.
I mean, did you see his last interview with the Israel First guy?
Oh, Ted Cruz? Dude. Banger episode.
I mean,
banger.
Like if there was, now we've watched most of Tucker's stuff, and you're good friends with him. You met with him and broken bread with him and all that stuff. Like the Ted Cruz interview. When I started watching it, Matt, the Ted Cruz interview, I thought that would be an opportunity for me to not like Tucker, and let me tell you why. I thought as they started rolling into some of the harder questions, which came up in the first 15 minutes. I was like,
have it quick.
All right, let's get the guns out, guys. I thought that was an opportunity for Tucker to start rolling back stuff.
Yeah.
And start being like, I'm not going to ask that because it might be too tough a question, or I'm not going to say that because Tucker leaned in.
You could tell his frustration level with this Israel first over USA, America first. Like you could see that, like for the last year, he's been alluding to it.
Yeah.
He'll interview
He's been dancing
people
around the fringe.
He'll interview people that are kind of like maybe like slight JQ, but not full JQ.
Yeah.
You know, like he's been messing around with it a little bit. Enough to signal that, hey, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
But he's been very vanilla.
Yeah.
But this interview with Ted Cruz,
dude,
he was like, no, like, why do we care about what's going on there? We should care about what's here.
And forget the Israel fill in the blank. Like it could be Spain. It could be Argentina. It could be, Colombia. Fill in the blank. What I loved about Tucker is he told Ted, like, why you keep calling me an anti-Semite?
Yeah.
Why you keep focusing on this Israel thing? Fill in the blank. I'm America first.
Yeah.
Right? Let's stop sending money to this other country. Fill in the blank, whoever they are. And Ted gave him ample opportunity for Tucker to roll back stuff or be a little bit more apologetic or to be kind of play the vanilla side.
Yeah.
But
he didn't.
my respect for Tucker went up a whole
Seriously.
notch after I saw him go to toe with this Ted Cruz, can I say the word? Traitorish sounding politician.
I mean, he literally said, my goal in getting elected as a senator was to be the number one senator and congressperson for the interests of Israel. And I was like, wait, you can't actually, even if it's true in your mind.
You can't say that out loud?
You can't say that out loud. Like, how is that a thing? I couldn't believe, I was shocked. Flabbergasted. Flabbergasted? Flabbergasted.
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 It's a Korean accent too, guys.
Korean. Flabbergasted by the fact that he actually said those
You
words
can't
out loud.
say the silent part out loud.
The balls on this guy to say that out loud.
The money must be good.
It must be ridiculously good.
The money must be, his knee pads must be so worn out.
It must be like, if anyone ever questions you, you have to say that. And do you know what? Stand here and practice before you go on stage.
Oh, yeah, right. And yeah, bend over while you do it.
Because for him to say that on that level of interview with the entire world watching, I was like, what?
No shame.
No shame. I was shocked.
No shame. So who voted Ted in? Who voted? Some people voted him in, right?
People in Texas.
Texas.
And
People
Ted Cruz is
in
like a smart guy.
Yeah. So people in Texas voted him in.
Harvard Law,
Yeah.
argued in front of Supreme Court. Like, he's got this credentials.
Let me create a very simple model here. There are people in Texas who voted him in to represent them. I think that's like was the design intent, right? You vote someone in to represent you. If you're in Texas and you voted Ted Cruz in and you watched him say with no hesitation, I am for this other country first. Like, aren't you ashamed of who you voted for? Aren't you? Don't you feel like you've been rug pulled? Don't you? I mean, what is the feeling of people who in Texas who voted this guy in? Like, I would be not only ashamed to say that I voted for him, but I'd be offended. I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? You can't say, lie to me harder, Sar. At least lie. Right, but he was on one of the biggest podcast stages on the planet, Tucker Carlson. And he said multiple times, I am for this other country first. That sounds, color me, whatever you want to call it. That sounds traitorish. Am I using too strong a term here, Matt? What do you think?
I mean, first, I just recently found out that Ted Cruz is from Canada.
I heard that years ago, yes. He's
Canadian?
He immigrated and he's been naturalized.
Okay. And
He can't become president.
But didn't he run for president?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. I don't understand how that happened.
Well, I mean, he was just another flavor of Barack Obama because he wasn't born here either.
That's true. Yeah. Number two is why is most support for Israel and AIPAC from Texas?
We've talked about this. It's because the Christians are some of the stupidest humans on the planet.
And I myself, as a Christian, don't understand why. Because,
Well, you do. The Schofield Bible.
well, I mean, I get that. But even then, I mean, you can say it's the Schofield Bible and you can blame kind of the theology. And most people don't actually read the Bible that much.
I know.
Most people actually don't study the Bible that much.
I know.
You kind of just, like, I'm a Christian, I believe in God, and I'm just going to live a good life. That's actually majority of Christians.
Yeah.
So you can blame the theology and the teachings and also all that, but they're not actually studying that hard.
Fair enough. So
then-
we can't blame the Christians.
I mean, it's really hard to blame, like, as a blanket statement.
Maybe it's
But why is all that come from Texas?
maybe it's part of just the conservative culture.
I don't know, because it's a really Texas thing. You don't really see that as much in Georgia. Georgia's a pretty conservative state,
Yeah.
especially when you leave Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially where I live, which is a really conservative side, my neighbors come up to me all the time. And I have two neighbors that, my boy Nick in my neighborhood, he's like, Matt, I thought you were crazy because I listened to your podcast. I thought you were crazy, man, because you've been talking about Israel and kind of this deep state and Zionism and everything going on. And I thought you were crazy, but I just kept on listening. And now I know.
No.
He's like, thank you. everything makes sense
His
to me.
eyes been opened by the Asian man.
Yeah, it's my neighbor. I like see him on walks, like, hey, I've seen his kids.
Yeah.
And he's like, I get it now.
Well, you're doing the Lord's work. You're doing the Lord's work,
But
man.
people in more conservative Georgia are like more aware of that versus Texas, which is still extremely APAC heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Why Texas? Why have they gone that way? I don't know the answer to that, by the way.
I don't know
it's
the
just
answer
kind
to
of a question I'm throwing out into the world.
Well, but and I might have been a little bit terse in my communication of this, but like if you are in Texas and you voted for this man and you saw him say what he said on, again, one of the biggest platforms for podcasts, the Tucker Carlson podcast, I would feel, let's just make it simple, I would have cognitive dissonance. Be like, wait, I voted for you, dude. Like, and why are you promoting and sending all of our money over to this other country? Like, I would feel like a rational and logical person, Matt, would have a moment and say, the math ain't mathin'. Something's not adding up here. Why is he so pro another country? And I think that is the issue that many of the Christians in the South don't actually think about. They don't see the dissonance and conflict of this idea of, let's be America first, let's be conservative, and let's conserve the good values in Christian values in America, but in the same breath, let's spend all of our time and all of our money in another country. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
But over time, we slowly figured things out.
Oh, do we now?
I don't know, man. Eventually, we talk.
A dog doesn't change its spots. A dog doesn't change. An old dog doesn't learn new tricks, brother.
Man, can I tell you my dog died? I don't know. You said dog because my other little dog is here. And
You want to show?
yeah, is he? Where is he?
Oh, he's right behind me. Hey, Nugs.
Yeah, our little dog is here because he's been really sad and depressed recently. Oh, there he is. Can you show him?
He's stinky.
That's Nugs,
This
by
is
the
Nugs.
way.
Hey, Nugs.
That's
Say
Nugs. Okay, he's like really comical looking. He's funny. He's awesome. But he's been really sad at home because we had a 14-year-old lab and she was aging, and we went through months of is it time? Is it time? Is it time? Is it time? And finally, I think 3 weeks ago, we had to put her down. And ever since then, he's been kind of depressed and like sitting in spots he doesn't normally sit, all of that. So we have the dog in the studio today. You know?
Nugs. All right, get down. All right, Nugs is a very happy guy today. We love Nugs, but yeah, unfortunate for those of you who've lost a dog, lost a good companion. Like I saw a meme years ago, and I have a dog, and it touches me whenever I think about this meme of like when you get into heaven, right? When you get into heaven, one of the angels will say, "They've been waiting for you." And of course, the end of the meme is that your dog is running up to you and saying, "Hey, I've been waiting for you here." So, for those who've lost dogs, you guys understand. Dog truly is a man's best friend. At the end of the day, the relationship between a man and a dog is almost incalculable. The depth, and you understand this, right? The depth of connection that you can have with this amazing little creature. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because you just get used to them being around everywhere. And you start looking at places where they would typically sit because there's a pattern and a habit of where they sit, and you look and you're like, oh. And my daughter, in the morning, like I think a few days ago, I was getting ready to come here to the studio, and she's like, "Oh, Appa, are you gonna go pick up Mamdani now?" And I was like, and I'm like trying to tell her, like I don't want to tell my 3-year-old daughter, almost 3-year-old daughter, our dog died. And I don't want to say, oh, she went to the doctor and she's not coming back because then she's gonna be scared of the doctor.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, oh, she's in heaven, because if I say that too much, then she'll be like, oh boy, I don't want to go there because you don't come back. You can have a negative association.
Oh man, the depths of your thinking. So how did you break it to your daughter? I'm curious.
I told her that she went to a place where she's no longer in pain, because she knows that our dog has been sick, that has been in pain. That she's not coming back, but she's better now, and she's happier now, and she's running around. with our other dog, which no longer exists also. And and that's just kind of how we've been doing it, you know.
So have you
She's
ever
in a better place without saying a better place, you know.
That's wise. That's very wise. My kids are grown up, and when my dog dies, they'll be grown up and they'll understand it. But a little human, a little child, it's hard for them to. It's been very wise of you to think of it that way. Have you ever watched the movie All Dogs Go to Heaven?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about that. You know,
So-
like where do the dogs go?
So let me ask you, where do you think? Do you think all dogs go to heaven?
Well, I kind of proposed this question on Instagram the other day, and I think dogs are in heaven. I think animals are there. Your pets are there with you and waiting for you, and when you show up, you know, like you get to reunite and they're chilling. Well, and then you have to go the idea, and then I've been thinking about it because you know eschatology, and then it's like, wait a second, actually. According to the Bible, no one's actually in heaven right now, and everyone's in the crowd, and that the whole idea of rapture is that people finally get to go to heaven. And you're like, oh, that just ruined this whole all dogs go to heaven thing because now apparently no one's in heaven. But is that just humans that are in heaven, but all the dogs are there and all the dogs are waiting? Is that just a huge dog park? You know, like I don't know.
I think they're in heaven. I think they're in heaven, and let me tell you why I think so. Because at the final moments of Jesus, he was hanging out between two men on a cross. One man decided to blaspheme Jesus, said, you know, if you're the great Savior, then save yourself. And the second man said, you know, remember me when you get into your paradise. And Jesus looked at him, and Jesus said, in the hour, man, you're going to be hanging out with me. So if I were to take Jesus for what Jesus said, is that in the hour you're going to be hanging out with me, I feel like if you die, you're in heaven right now. Fuck what the eschatology and the dispensationalists say.
We'll probably have to do another deep dive on that soon.
I mean, I could go deep on that.
Thank you, everyone. If you haven't checked out VP.net, definitely go check out VP.net. Appreciate you guys. Support the show. Like, thumbs up. And for the algorithm, check in SAR. Thank you, everybody.